Good morning. It's me again, the library lady. Who's the library lady? Well, that's me. That's what you guys call me. That's what many boys and girls, they say, hey, the library lady. You're the library lady. I've been called that many, many times. So that's going to be my new nickname. So you can call me Miss Bird, but my nickname is the library lady. So the library lady welcomes you back. And today is a new day. This is going to be a new week. So we have a new vocabulary word. And the vocabulary word for the week of March 22nd through the 26th is summarize. 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 I know you've probably heard that. I'm sure that you've read it or you've seen it in some of your work. So for the next couple of weeks, some of my words may be words that you would see or you would hear in some of your testing directions, okay? And summarize was the one that I chose first. Let's go talk about the basics of the word itself, okay? So, summarize, it is a verb which shows action, and it has summarize. How many syllables? Summarize. 3. So, what do those upside down E's sound like? Okay? So, summarize. And I think that's kind of interesting because we normally say some, and it sounds like, but this is going summarize, like the m part is in the second part of the second syllable. So, whenever you're talking about where syllables need to be divided, and I know that I'm sure some of you have done that by now in being in the 3rd and 4th grade. So, what does exactly summarize mean? And I know that many of you have heard this from your ELA teachers, from your homeroom teachers, even maybe, any other, teacher. I'm not just saying ELA teachers do it, but you hear it a lot about in reading stories is the reason I said that. But the Merriam-Webster definition, I'll get it out in a second, is to tell in or reduce to a short statement of the main points. Okay? So reduce means make it smaller. Okay? If you reduce an image on the printer, you shrink it down. You make it smaller. So in this case, we are reducing our information. We are reducing what we've read or what we've heard. So we're going to summarize it. All right, my definition, to tell information again using fewer words, making sure to include the main parts. So whenever you retell that information, you want to make sure that you have included those main points or the main parts, okay? I said parts just because a lot of times we think about, beginning, middle, and end of something when we're summarizing a story. But we can summarize an informational article. It doesn't have to be just a story that we're summarizing. Okay? Let's look at some synonyms. What are synonyms? Words that mean the same, almost the same, or they are similar in meaning. I have a pretty good list. Condense means to reduce it down, make it smaller, make it shorter. Shorten, sum up, compile, and compile means kind of like what the word says. It has the word pile in it. When you put something in a pile, you put it all together. So when you are compiling something, you're putting it together, maybe the important parts or the important points, putting those together. Give the main points. So that's a 3-word synonym. And synonyms, usually we consider them being like one word, but sometimes we have phrases. All right, so again, condense, shorten, definitely easy to remember, sum it up, compile, or give the main points. Those are synonyms. Antonyms is to increase. So the opposite of reduce would be increase. If I'm talking about making something smaller, making something shorter, reducing it. Increasing it would be the opposite. Lengthen, same thing. If I'm going to make something longer, I'm going to lengthen it. And then the other one is expand. So each one of those means that you are making something bigger or longer or, you're increasing the size of something. So the opposite of summarizing a story would be making the story longer, adding to it, increasing the length of it, lengthening, the whole thing. So those are synonyms and antonyms. Now, before we get to the pictures real quick, I found this in a picture and I loved it so much. And I know that your teachers, many times share little tricks to remember things, but this is a trick. And if you don't have a trick to remember the word summary or summarize, which in this case it's summarize, it's the verb, this is what I found. And the word sum is, that's the shortened version of summarize, okay? So shorter than the text stands for the S. Use your own words is what the U stands for. And main ideas or points only. So that's a little trick to help you remember, okay, what am I doing when I'm summarizing? What is a summary? Because both of those, the summary is the noun version of this word. Summarizing is the action of is the process of making those things into a shorter version or, reducing the amount of information. So we're going to sum it up. We're going to shorten, it's shorter than the text. We're going to use our own words, and we're going to do only the main ideas or the main points. You can do, call it either one of those, okay? And there's the SUM. So I'm going to put this up, and it'll be out there on the board. And here's where I got it from. Summarize it. Shorter than the text. Use your own words. Main ideas only. And I included the part about because some teachers may say main ideas. Some teachers may say main points, main parts. So that word right here might change, all right? Now, here's another one, and then I'm going to get back to this. Here's another illustration about summarize. To tell in your own words what has happened in the story. Now, this, of course, is about summarizing a story. And so, but this is not the only thing that we can summarize. You can summarize, like I said, you can summarize a magazine article, which can be informational text. You can summarize, let's see, anything that is longer, you can shorten it. And so you're like summarizing it. You're giving, let's say that something happened at lunch with some students, and your teacher says, okay, give me the shorter version, because you start going into every single thing, and she says, well, I only have, we only got a couple minutes, you got to hurry up and give me the main points. So you've got to summarize that story or those events that happened, okay? So that's like a real life event. So that's another thing that you can do to summarize. When you're writing a report, teachers and anyone that works in the school, if we have to write, let's say an accident happened, we have to give a summary. We have to summarize on that report what happened. Okay, so that is another. That's exactly what I was just kind of talking about, but we have to do it on a report. So summarize is, you're going to do that. That's one of those things you're going to do for the rest of your life. And this is the part I was talking about. Why do we summarize? And you say, well, why do I have to do that? We summarize because it helps us to improve our memory as we read. So many times as you read, and I'm not sure, I'm not going to go into how to do this because your teachers teach you that. But you may stop and, in your own head, kind of get a short summary of each page. Or you may, your teachers may ask you to do a short summary, or y'all might discuss it. You might do it by page. You might do something by chapter. You might summarize something by paragraphs. It just depends on the assignment, okay? And it depends on how your teacher has taught you. But it says to improve your memory. So many times teachers like you to summarize maybe as you go along instead of waiting all the way to the end. Summarizing helps us to understand the text better by finding the most important words and information. Okay, and that's what I was saying earlier in the definition. We're summarizing the most important points. or the most important ideas. So, regardless of what you are summarizing. Okay? So, that is our word for this week, is summarize. And if you see me around, come and tell me about it. You know, anytime you see me out and about, you may tell me about it. I would love for you to create one of our word windows. I guess I left mine on the printer, but no, here we go. Here it is. So here is the one that is all together. So any of the words that I have gone over with you, if you would create a word window, I would love it, and I will definitely give you a good treat. And I will put it out there in the hallway on the bulletin board. Okay. All right. So hope you guys have an extraordinary week, and I will see you next week. Okay. Bye bye.